We're here today, we're going to check out Walter on the new Cenex diagnostic system. We're going to be using a simple handheld, in this case a PC-based scope system, which also has a scan tool in it. And we're going to look at a 4-cylinder Mazda engine today and go through the basics on it. One of the first tests we do with the FirstLook sensor is a basic compression test. We don't have to get our hands dirty, we don't have to pull the plugs. The only thing we have to do is find what fuse controls the fuel system and remove that fuse. We then take the FirstLook sensor. In this case, we're going to use a simple handheld oscilloscope system. And we go to the rear of the vehicle, and we are going to insert the unit in the tailpipe. On the engine, as we insert the FirstLook unit in the tailpipe, and then we're going to have our trainee here step up. And the scope has been set for roughly a 1/2 second window and roughly a 1/2 volt amplitude in waveform. We're going to roll it over a couple times, and I'm going to have you hit the hold button. Clear. Good. We have just done what we call a dynamic compression test, and this is the results of that compression test. What we're looking for is a nice even wave pattern. All the cylinders are opening and closing equally. Now this is a 4-cylinder engine. In a 1/2 second we've seen about 2 complete revolutions of the motor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. We've got one hidden there, but the point is there's nothing out of the ordinary. Each waveform looks the same. What's important to know is that each engine, depending on variables within the system, can look a little different. What we're looking for is an even pattern. Above and below the line, if each one of these is the same, we have a good compression test. Now, if at some point we've got a bad test here, the next thing we would do is to differentiate between the valves and the physical engine, the pistons, which is the difference between a $1,500 job and a $4,000 or $5,000 job. We're now going to look at the blow-by inside the engine. And the blow-by is the gases that get past the cylinder into the crankcase. And again, this is a very simple test. We take our sensor, we remove it from the tailpipe, and we now go back to the engine. Go ahead. At this point, we want to put the fuse back in that we have removed so that the engine will start and run. We then want to close that fuse box, and we want to go to the oil fill tube. We want to remove the dipstick at this time. We're going to set the dipstick off to the side, and we're going to take our device here. We're going to take the end of the hose, and we are going to put that over the dipstick tube. Again here, we're going to, once we get a good waveform on this, we're going to have you hit a hold there, and at that time we will determine the condition of the engine. If you want to move, I'll start the engine up and we'll come back to this. Clear. What we have done here is we've restarted the engine. It's been warmed up. We're first of all going to adjust our scope so that we get a clean wave pattern. And then we're going to go to a window that's 200 milliseconds from start to finish, or a sweep of 200 milliseconds. At this time we've gone to a 1-volt scale, and we can see now that we have, an engine always has some blow-by, and you always have some action taking place with the EGR or the circ valve. What we're looking for again is that signal the same on all 4 counts. At this point we can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4 cylinders. Each one is blow-by is equal to the other, and this is normal for this engine. This engine burns no oil, it has no leaks, and this engine has about 90,000 miles on it. We can then immediately go from this test. Now we know our first test shows our valves. This shows the condition of the engine itself. What we're going to do now is we're going to go back to the tailpipe for our final test. Leave the vehicle run, make sure it is in neutral, if it's a straight stick or in park, and you have your emergency brake set if you're working by yourself. We're going to take our unit now, and we're going to go to the rear of the car again, and with the engine running, we will insert